what were some of your early memories in terms of being out there and sort of facing some of these? I mean, did you perceive them as challenges, or was it just a really good time?
It was. Well, it was difficult. It was trailblazing in many respects. The touring thing has become so much easier. I think the technology has definitely improved. Thank God for ear monitors. I don't know where I'd be without them today, but I know that was really a big problem for me early on. I guess, that was the sort of the big era of, women's rights and, I guess it was a little after burning bras, but it was a changeover period, which is always very exciting. And New York being in the throes of complete financial ruin was actually good for us. So, for the arts, I guess it's always sort of good to have chaos. That's what they say. As far as trailblazing goes, I mean, when people would say to me, why don't you, do a cabaret act? I think I was constantly told to get out of rock and roll and go into cabaret. They could actually see me in cabaret, but they didn't want to see me in front of a band, and all I could think of was Tina Turner. Well, I mean, what's the big deal? I think I was really greatly inspired by all the R&B women. Mm-hmm. And
anyone in particular?
I think all of them, really. I think I was pretty wide open about it. I don't think I really narrowed my focus at any time.
Tell us a little bit about some of your early mentors, your early influences, both I think personally and creatively, from the early days. Before Blondie, before Max's.
I think originally I wanted to be a film star. I wanted to be in movies, and I was. I think that's one of the reasons that I did the blonde thing. The silver screen and all of the, the bleached out women that were so hot and had that, that glow, on film that really inspired me as a visual. In music, I felt always very fortunate to be, a part of the metropolitan area and such great radio stations that I could hear all kinds of music and that they were really a big part of my life. And late at night, I can remember tuning into people like Georgie Hudson and, people like that from Newark, all the little Newark stations that were so great. And, of course, then later on, ABC, how it became so powerful. And
sure. When you came, in the late 70s, when Blondie finally really broke through on a massive level, who were you looking to for sort of guidance and leadership at that time? Who were your mentors and who really kept you sort of moving in the right direction? Because you suddenly, you'd put out a couple of albums and, you had some success here and there, but then, I think it was in '78 when Blondie really just broke internationally.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. We had, went over to Chrysalis and we started working with Mike Chapman, and I guess it was a more concerted effort at promotion. And since we had the international success, we were really, really trying very hard to come to grips with a market in the United States that was kind of resistant to what they called punk. And I guess that's when the new wave title was invented, became more palatable.
I'd like to ask you a little bit about your take on the music business, because I think you've talked about how the business has changed so much. You have spoken to that. What do you see as the path now? I mean, if you were starting out as Blondie in 2008, what would that look like? Where would you go? How would you handle that, do you think?
I don't know. I think that might be impossible for me to really say. Mm-hmm. I think that.
What were the key drivers like early on as you were breaking? I mean, it was still a very traditional music business, yeah? I mean, you were doing a lot of radio, you were doing a lot of touring, and you were just kind of always out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the core thing that for me was just something very personal and had to do with discovery and finding out if I could do it, who this person was, and it was about ambition and satisfaction. It was really not so much about the business, but very, internal.